Doing a balance transfer can be a great tool to help you fix your credit. But the issue is most individuals take on a balance transfer and they do not do it correctly. And so the issue is most people take on a balance transfer, they move the debt from one account and they move it to the next, and then they completely forget about that account and they stop making payments towards it. And so the most important thing, and this is something that I love that Dave Ramsey says all the time, is that just because you do a balance transfer, the debt does not go away. And this cannot be further from the truth. And the reason why most people forget about the debt or they act as if the debt goes away is because of the interest rate difference between the account that it originally was at versus the account that is now in. And so if you have high interest debt, such as a credit card debt, let's say you have a $10,000 credit card that's maxed out, and the interest on that could be anywhere between 22 to 27%, depending on location and credit card. Now, if you were to transfer that over to a balance transfer account, that interest rate can be I've seen interest rates as low as 0% for 12 months. I've seen it go as low as 2% for 18 months. Recently, I've seen some a little bit higher, at around 3.8% for like 20 months. And so when you have interest rate this low and you're used to 22%, a lot of people take on a balance transfer thinking it's solving their problem, and it's not. What it's doing is buying you time, and it's also giving that bank your business. And so a lot of time what you'll notice is that if you have multiple bank accounts, let's say your debt's with CIBC and you also have an RBC account, RBC may offer you a balance transfer because they want to take that business. They want to take that business. They're not these banks aren't trying to help you out. It's all business. Once you get down to it, it's all business. And so what RBC is trying to do is take uh take business from CIBC. So they'll offer you this 3% to take on that CIBC debt. And now let's say you get a 3% interest rate for the next 12 months. The mistake people make is they do it over here and then they make the minimum payments. And then the 12 months elapse. And now they're here with all the additional interest that was included in that contract that they did not know about. Okay, so a balance transfer can be a good tool, but this is how we should be using a balance transfer. If we're using a balance transfer, the first goal is to pay it off within that time frame that we have the low interest rate. So let's go back to the previous example. If we have a $10,000 credit card with CIBC and we go with RBC and we're taking that balance transfer from RBC, let's say it's 3% for 12 months. It doesn't matter. It's just a lot lower than that 22% credit card interest rate with CIBC. We're taking the debt over, we're moving it over to RBC, and we have 12 months of 3% interest rates. Your goal should be to have it all paid off before the end of the 12 months. Okay, so that's it. That's the secret to effectively using a balance transfer. The goal is to have it completed in 12, and when it could be 12 months. I've seen balance transfers for 18 months. I've seen some go all the way up to 20 months. It depends. It depends on what you agree to. And again, it doesn't have to be 3%. I've seen balance transfer for 0% for multiple months. One of the things you can do, you can actually shop the market. You can go to multiple banks if you have a relationship with them and see who has a better offer for a balance transfer. You can let them know. But the goal is if you do 12 months at 3%, by the end of the 12 months, the debt should be paid off. And a lot of people they just make minimum payments. They move from here to here, minimum payments. At the end of the 12 months, they're here with all that additional interest over the span of the 12 months. Okay. And this is actually in the user agreement before you sign off on the consumer proposal. You just have to be aware. Most people aren't aware and they're not actually reading the contracts that they're signing. Okay. So if I'm going to do it, I'm going to be very smart about it, but I have a plan in place. I have a budget in place to pay it off in full. All right. Now, even if you're going to do a balance transfer, you need to have somewhat decent credit. I'll say you need to at least have above a 650. If you have a bunch of collection accounts, if you have a bunch of derogatory accounts, you're not going to get approved for a balance transfer. A balance transfer is for the individual. They probably just have like one or two credit cards maxed out, but for the most part, they don't have any missed payments. And so the banks are going to offer them because they know they still have a history of positive on-time payments, even though their cards are paid off. Okay, so it's a very few people. It's a selective group of people they can actually do a balance transfer. But if you have collection accounts and you don't have the option to even take on a balance transfer to help you out with your high interest rate debt, then my team is here to assist. We actually help our clients dispute and remove collection accounts off of their credit report. If you need assistance with collection accounts, send us an email, info@kennyjohnsonuniversity.com. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, peace.